They came from the stars, their ships blotting out the sun. They came with weapons we couldn't imagine, technology so advanced it seemed like magic. They were perfect, invincible, and in the first few hours, they brought our world to its knees. Cities fell, monuments turned to dust, and for a moment, hope died. And yet, humanity survived. Not because we were stronger, faster, or smarter. We survived because we were human. Because we are stubborn, we are chaotic, and we refuse to give up, even when all is lost. This is the story of how Earth fought back. The arrival was a symphony of destruction. Their fleet descended like a silent, metal plague, and our most advanced military hardware was swatted away like flies. Plasma shields absorbed every missile, every shell. Governments collapsed under the sheer weight of the onslaught. Panic was the only global language. Humanity was on the brink of extinction. But in the ruins of our civilization, something flickered. Survivors, scientists, engineers, and everyday people started noticing things. Patterns in the attacks, rhythms in their patrols. While the world's armies failed, a single civilian engineer, huddled in the rubble of what was once Tokyo, did the impossible. She got her hands on a downed alien drone. With nothing but a laptop and a desperate spark of ingenuity, she bypassed its security, tore apart its code, and found a weakness. It wasn't a design flaw. It was an oversight. The aliens had never conceived of someone trying to hack their tech with salvaged parts and sheer, bloody-minded determination. That discovery was the first stone in the avalanche. Suddenly, humanity had a new purpose. We began to organize, not under flags or governments, but as a single, unified species. Engineers worked with farmers, soldiers learned from hackers, and kids with quick fingers and quicker minds became our new intelligence network. We scavenged their foreign technology, not to copy it, but to adapt it. We didn't build plasma shields. We built magnetic traps that exploited our planet's unique atmospheric properties. We didn't create laser cannons. We built kinetic weapons that were simple, brutal, and effective. The first real victory came from a small, unassuming squad, using a network of repurposed satellites. And a lot of courage, they lured a lone alien destroyer into a low-orbit trap. It wasn't a battle of firepower. It was a masterpiece of coordination. They used Earth's own gravity as a weapon, pulling the ship into a decaying orbit while simultaneously bombarding it with projectiles made from its own fallen comrades. The explosion that lit up the night sky was a message to the invaders and to ourselves. Earth was no longer a victim. We were fighting back. The aliens couldn't predict our chaos because they had no concept of it. Their logic couldn't account for our creativity, our unpredictability. Our greatest weakness had become our ultimate weapon. The war changed. It was no longer fought in the open, but in the shadows. We turned our planet into a hunting ground. Ambushes were set in deep canyons, dense forests, and the concrete jungles of our ruined cities. We used guerrilla tactics, striking hard and fast before melting back into the environment. We were outgunned, but we outthought, outmaneuvered, and outlasted them. Every day brought new heroes. A medic, armed with little more than a first aid kit, dragged dozens of wounded soldiers out of the line of fire. A teenager in her basement hacked into a patrol drone's targeting system, turning it against its own fleet in a beautiful, destructive ballet. Squads of soldiers, facing impossible odds, stood their ground, buying precious time for others to escape or prepare the next trap. We used our vulnerabilities as strengths. We were small, agile, and resourceful, while they were large, cumbersome, and reliant on brute force. They were an army. We were an immune system, fighting an infection from within. The invaders were confused. Their models and simulations had predicted a swift, clean conquest. They couldn't comprehend our capacity for cooperation, our ability to adapt on the fly. They saw our squabbles, our history of conflict, and assumed we were divided. They were wrong, and their biggest mistake was underestimating our ingenuity. The turning point came from a scientist who had been watching the stars her whole life. She realized the alien shields weren't just blocking energy. They were actively interacting with our planet's magnetic field. It was a complex, beautiful theory born from a lifetime of study and a flash of inspiration in the darkest of times. She figured out how to reverse engineer their shield frequency, not to break it, but to overload it, using Earth's own magnetosphere as a massive planetary weapon. The plan was audacious. It required a coordinated global strike, not with fleets or armies, but with every human on the planet working as one. Power grids were rerouted, communication rays were synchronized, and for a few critical moments, every piece of functioning technology on Earth focused on a single task. The sky lit up, not with explosions, but with a silent, cascading aurora of energy. Across the globe, alien shields flickered, sputtered, and died. For the first time since their arrival, the aliens retreated. A cheer erupted from the planet, a single, unified roar of defiance that echoed from the deepest bunkers to the highest mountain peaks. Humanity didn't just survive. We won, on our own terms. In the aftermath, we rebuilt. Our cities rose from the ashes, stronger and smarter than before. We were a different species now, united by a shared struggle and a shared victory. They came thinking we were weak. They saw our history of mistakes, our emotional fragility, and believed we would be easy prey. But they didn't understand us. They didn't understand that our flaws are our strengths. Humans adapt, humans endure, and when pushed, humans fight back. They learned that the hard way. Now, we look up at the stars, not with fear, but with readiness, ready for whatever comes next. Thanks for watching this story of human triumph. If you want to see more epic tales of how humanity always finds a way, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.